A man and his companions accept the contract to assassinate the corrupt nobles who are assisting in slave auction. During this time, a flashback shows an older Ma and trading of Rookie while simultaneously taking out members of a crime syndicate as they tried to escape. The old man and the Rookie were intercepted by a drone which forced them to improvise in order to avoid it. As day broke, the assassin contacted the organization where he announced his intend to retire and become a mentor to features dozens of Japan using fake passports. The assassin in the Rookie region nearby airport and take a flight to Japan. While taking off, he reflects himself, but there's nothing left for him to do now. His life as an assassin is over. Just then the plane began to shake violently, and it quickly becomes apparent to him that this is the organization's final goodbye. They knew exactly what plan he would be on, and this is now an inescapable trap. As he attempts to gain some control of the plane, a 5-digit shows up and puts it into the show, and his life off to is. However, he finds himself in the presence of a goddess who gives him two options: become reborn as a completely different person in the regular boring world, or be reborn into a magical fantasy world and completely retain all of your current memories. I think you know which one he chooses. And honestly, I don't think there's anyone here who would choose differently. She then explains that the reason she has chosen him is because he's talented at being the best assassin in the world, and she has a special target in mind. She tells him that once he is reborn into the fantasy world, he used to kill the hero there, and he has until 18 years after his birth to do so. She then gives him a mental rundown on the histories, magic, and technologies of this new world, so he understands it, then explaining that 16 years after he's born, the hero will kill the demon lord and save the world. However, shortly after that they become power-hungry and plunges the world into chaos, so he must assassinate the hero in the short time period between the hero defeating the demon lord and then destroying the world. She also tells them there's a small chance you can save the world without having to kill the hero, but saving the world is #1 priority. She then lets him pick his 5 skills and the type of magic he wants to use in STE Rapid Recovery ATS Spellweaver to make his own custom spells. BTO Limitless Growth, which increases his stamina exponentially. CTO Martial Arts, and the mysterious skill in the detail. Come to your own conclusions on that one. As he approaches his new life, he thinks to himself, at this time he's gonna live according to his own will, not being pulled by the strings of anyone, and he will find his own happiness. He then awakens in the new world, being born as a child of the 12th at the family, which is a noble house with the hidden specialties while being assassins, where he is then named Luke. Twice a day time passes, and by the age of 7 Luke has become a proficient hunter and cook, both due to his new magical abilities and his experience from his previous life. One night off the dinner, he goes to the training room with his father when he gets his physical growth strangely and uncomfortably inspected in way too much detail. After his father concludes that he is now ready for special surgery, they'll give him insanely enhanced eyesight alongside giving him the ability to perceive magic in a person and the environment. Some days pass off the surgery, and Luke is being fed some cake by his mother as he see, and you're first off. I couldn't respond. The message then starts acting a bit strange. Just then his father KS up and takes into a high vantage point as his eyes should be healed by now. He takes off the blindfold. India might do can now see in full. Okay, you can see pretty much everything in his vicinity and any magical or a person might have. His father then tells him they've organized a Magica L to come and train him finally, as they didn't think he was prepared enough until now, and his mother has just the outfit prepared for him. Speeches. We was no more time to go and change, though they go down and await the arrival of the magical tutor, who is revealed to be a young girl not too much older than Luke can self-deal v. Conde. Later in the day, as she attempts to measure Luke's magical potential, she gives him an object known as a foster in a red gemstone that measures potential by the amount of mana that can be stored inside it from the user. Luke, however, due to the broken building metal, being reincarnated as a medical positive that seems endless, much to the shock of Deal, who's never seen anyone or anything with this kind of capacity. Before having had too much mana, port in the Foster begins to crack, and did desperately tell him to throw it away as far as you can. After he does so, we get some cool fireworks in the massive explosion that rocked the state. His parents immediately run over, and instead of being upset with Deal, if they absolutely chuffed with how strong the sun seems, he then asks Deal if you can get any more of those stories, with the idea in mind of turning them into grenades you can use against the hero. When the time comes, less of a Granada, Malik can pocket nuke, but she explains that they are treasured item by a people, and she can just give them out to individuals from other regions. The next day she begins determining the attributes of where he's from. This magical powers lie. She tests file, and it turns out he has an affinity for it. She then tests out water, and while he has an affinity for that too, Dhea is happily surprised, as this is the first time seen someone with the affinity for 2 attributes other than herself lose that. Like, maybe you should check the others. And she says that she's never heard about anyone with 3 affinities before, but surprise, Luke has affinity for every single basic element that is in regard to magic. She then guides him on awakening his magical pal. Was what she promises him a wonderful first time. Let me tell you, the underton and not settle here. Over the time together, Dhea and Luke study become emotionally attached to each other, which is kinda creepy, as he is like a 60-plus-year-old man in the body of a child becoming close with another child. It's like every Discord water, it is dream right here. During the TR Aining, Lu provides a mix optionally fast learner, not only learning how to synthesize metals but also had to rearrange those metals into weapons such as knives, a goddamn rifle, and which works really well. And this Bill weave a skill that he chose. India even learned how to game the magic system and make their own fully custom spells. On their last night together, Luke gives her a titanium knife as a thanks to being his teacher over these past few weeks, and she gives him her personal foster and makes him promise to come and visit her. His gift was something he can make an unlimited amount of, and hose was something deeply personal. What it shed off to do the pots. Luke's father decides that it's about time for him to assassinate Samian for the first time. Yes, the first time. He tells me about the morals and ethics of the house before taking him to a prison which houses a bunch of death row inmates. As they walk into the target, Luke Austin's father, why didn't he just make him suppress his emotions and raise him to be a CT assassinating tool, like how the organization of his previous life did too, which his father responds saying that's because that people not tools, they only on the take a job if it will benefit the kingdom, and if they understand why they're killing in the first place. Luke is then taken to is target behind the door, who is a woman guilty of breaking into a house, murdering the occupants inside, then burning the house down. Off the train, eliminate the evidence. She tries desperately to plead her innocence, but Ludgate knows him and knows that she is blind and kills. So a few years POS. Some well out in the market for this family, Luke tends to find someone who can be both his personal servant and assistant. During assassinations, however, with his magical eyesight, he isn't really able to find anyone with an ounce of ability. Sometime later, while out on a hunting trip just before the start of winter, he has some wolves off in the distance and gets the idea that he will take whatever it is they're hunting when he finds them. However, we see that target is actually just a young girl. He jumps down, saving her from one wolf lunging at her before swiftly managing to deal with the 5 others that were there with relative ease. He also what she's doing out here, and she explains that there were too many males to feed into a poor family home, and so she was kicked out. Then a troubling motion told her this region was wealthy, so she thought she might have a second chance at life if she can make a way there. Off to given her some food, he explains that he is the son of the noble in this region and offers her a place by his side if she helps him with his duties, which include assassination. She is shocked at this prospect, but by finally feeling needed, she accepts, cutting back slightly. We see that Luke is mainly doing this as he sold the specialized that she has a substantial amount of mana and is just the person he's looking for. And so he takes her back to the estate and gets permission from his father to train her as an assassin. A few years boss and the girl Todd Has become exceptional the use of a spear, but is however quite lacking in her ability to use small objects like knives. This is a problem, as a speed isn't quite the still feels tool in assessing. Can use Lucko of us solve this problem by creating a special retractable speed that Tot can hide beneath the clothes. Now, with a good weapon finally at her disposal, Luke believes that Tot has become a valuable tool in his mission to assassinate He hero. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoy, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out.